You are live. I think I am. We'll give it a minute because I know there's a bit of a lag. Hi. Milu says hi. Fatty Potato. Hey, guys. It's Tuesday, so we have another, casual and educational Tuesday with Tori. It's a good day. You guys came. Hopefully this is like history in the making day. I finally convinced someone to be my co-host. Ha, ha, ha. You met him before if you've been paying attention. But I'm counting on people not paying attention as I grow this. See if anybody gets on for a minute. And you can watch me mess with my eyelashes. So yes, it's Tuesday, and I'm Tori. If you've never listened to me ramble, welcome. This is why I ramble if you're new to the show. We get together weekly to discuss topics such as sexual health and wellness. And I do it here on P3 and Facebook, because this is where most of my people live, right? So I am so it'll be 9 years. I've just passed my 9 years in the industry, right? And I want to say, 9 years ago, we picked up our stuff and moved to California to take a job at Joe. So as most of you know, I was a liquid lady. And as time has progressed, I've taken on this gig over at Paradise. And I decided that I should continue to ramble on about all the things, especially since condoms get a bad rap. Okay. I'm funny. They get a bad rap. And I just felt like we needed to do something about making the education more accessible for everybody. So I'm here to rant. But I'm cleaning it up a little bit, guys. Right? So for anyone who doesn't know me, I've been in the adult specialty retail for almost a decade now. I can say that. This is exciting. And with a focus on personal loops. And, since I've kind of broadened my life now, I've got condoms, dams, and a wide array of complementary products that we're here to help you with. So today's super exciting. Yay. I wish this was like condom confetti. Whee. Anyways, super special because I have co-hosts, guys. Yay. So I'm going to bring him in so that you don't have to look at me, staring off into the distance sometimes. And it rocks. So I'm joined tonight by my new co-host, Mr. Andrew. I call him Spider-Man. He's the business development manager over at Pamco. Yay! Which most people know him from Harmony Dam. And I've convinced him to do this, and he's no idea what's happening. Haha. And he brings like a fresh perspective to this podcast because he's kind of me, but in Canada. So you guys also get the pleasure of watching Andrew and I get to know each other and become friends as we learn about one another and our different regions in condoms. So welcome, Andrew. Do I need to put him in, or does the producer do that in? I think I do it. I did it anyways. Hey, Andrew. What's happening?
How's it going? Oh, not much. With the condoms, you flashing them around, you need one of those money guns that just shoots them out. There you go.
There we go. That's just literally, there's just always condoms sitting on my desk. They just came from this pile, guys. I don't know if it's amazing or pathetic. I'm going to go with amazing. So thanks for coming, Andrew. Do you want to take a minute and tell everybody how badass you are?
Badass.
Yeah. Or at least why I call you Spider-Man, or how I convinced you to do this, because now everyone's going to get to know you and love you.
Well, I think the Spider-Man thing was I sent you a picture. I meant to send you like something for work, but my Spider-Man mug was in the way. I am a huge Spider-Man fan, though. Have Venom and Carnage tattooed on my legs. So.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. See, we're being friends all together, guys.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a comic book geek as well, too. So I've got about 3,000, 4,000 comics.
Oh, dang.
Many of them Spider-Man, many of them Deadpool. Yeah.
Hubby liked Lobo, right? That was the one he was into.
Lobo's pretty badass.
I was an X-Men fan, and then I got into just books and not comic books. So, but this is exciting because sometimes I call Chris Batman because he's just got these Batman sunglasses, and you didn't know that, so it's funny because now my boss is Batman and you're Spider-Man. Does he ever
talk in that voice to you, like the Batman voice?
So far, no. I might be. I think that's the voice in his head, anyways. So far, he knows I'm too sensitive to take that. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. But yeah, for anyone that had seen, what was it, like about a month ago, I guess I was on as the first official guest of original Tuesdays with Tori. And just through talking, I guess that went very, very well. And Tori asked me to come on full time. So, hearts.
Yay.
For
Facebook
you
user,
too.
you have to do the thing, which is facebook.com/StreamYard. So because thank you. Ooh, look, producer did the things. He's sexy. Anyways, it's husband Ryan. He's doing this. But yeah, if you can go there. Sometimes it's weird. One of my friends was saying it wanted like your phone number. Sorry about that. Don't do that. I'll figure out how to put
it's all good.
Stream it on the other screen. I don't need your phone number, but I would love to know who's loving me because we love it. Anyways.
But if you do give your phone number, Tori's going to blast it out live for everyone to see.
I will just call you and say, hello, how are you, friend? How is your stock? How is your rotation of commodity goods like lubricants and condoms?
Yeah. But yeah, I've been with Pamco Distributing, also known as Safely Sexual in the United States, since the end of May. So it's been about 5 months, not nearly close to the almost a decade that Tori has. But I've got my feet very, very wet. Lube joke.
I like it. Winter's always better, but
yeah.
Okay, wait. Who's keeping score, producer?
Oh, sorry.
I feel like we both have a pun on the board.
Nice. Are we keeping an official tally?
I don't know. It's my show. I'll do what I want.
All right.
Yeah.
I do what I want.
I do what I want.
I love it. And yeah, I've come from 12 years with the tobacco industry. Boo!
No.
That was audibly my almost everyday life for about a decade. Well, over a decade.
Are you a smoker? I never asked you.
I used to be. I vape. I still do the vape though.
Oh, the vapes, they get everybody.
Yeah. Yep. You know, I'm just trying to live my 16-year-old life all over again.
I think I can understand that. I don't know if I'm 16 in my head, but like sometimes I just get rebellious with my time for no reason, like stay up too late and be an adult when my kids are asleep, when really I should go to bed. It's not doing me any good, but I get rebellious. So maybe that's what it is. We're all just trying to control something.
Kind of like that regret almost. Like I don't want to go to bed because there's so much more I could do, but
yeah, no. I mean,
especially if you ask my wife, I'm like 4 mentally.
Well, I think that's just man aging. So the fact that you think you're 4 means you're probably 2. I digress. Okay. So I'm excited to bring our guest. So I'm going to read the rest of the notes real quick, and it's going to be exciting. So, sleep is for the weak and boring. I agree, except not, because then I get crazy. For those of you just popping in, this weekly show exists to be casual, but we want everyone to have a safe and enjoyable experience. So let's be kind and let's send a bunch of questions and love for our guest. A quick reminder, anybody who is watching on Facebook or the P3, because it's a private little thingy about group. That's the word. You got to do the streamyard.com/Facebook, so that people can use your name, or you could just be incognito. It'll be more fun too. And give us some questions. So we love interacting. Bring it up. And we'll just keep building the show for whatever you guys need. It'll be fun. So jumping right into tonight's guest and interviewee, we've got Mr. Dr. James Pepper. Ha!
Hello.
Is this, how do we do audience applause?
Well, good to see you guys tonight.
Hey. So James, we've met and you've made me a lobster and it was fantastic, but I don't want to take all that away from today's experience. So I'm going to give you the floor for a second and let people know how I dragged you into this and what expertise you're going to talk to us today.
Yep. Kathy Pepper and I have had 27 years in the business. We started out with a home party business, Pepper's Parties. We did that for 16 years. And as that was going on, whenever people were out of lubes, condoms, or whatever, they would start calling and knocking on our door. Can we get some of this? We had people showing up at 2:00 in the morning at our house, knocking on the door. Do you have condoms and lube? So we turned our enclosed garage into a small store, a boutique.
Crazy, right? That's just awesome.
What were the hours of that store, James?
Well, we eventually had to go by appointments only.
Okay.
It was just back in the neighborhood. It wasn't fair to neighbors, so on and so forth. And, we said, okay, let's just put a hold on this open business. And for years, we operated by appointments only, doing the parties. And then 11 years ago, we opened a retail store, Pepper's Parties, too.
Awesome.
We did well with that.
You can boast here, right?
For a small boutique, we did well. We got several AVN nominations. Kathy and I have had the privilege, and we also won, I think it was 2018. Kathy and I have been honored enough to be invited to sit on panels with AVN several times. We've done that, really enjoyed it. For where we are and what we have done in the time, I'm pretty proud of being in the South and, being able to do exactly what you said, with the sexual health and wellness and education. And that's kind of how we started our business. It was all based on educationally entertaining shows at the party. We brought that to the store. That was the experience. And, I think you've been in the stores, we did a lot of training and, to the point tonight, merchandising, so that we could have an educationally experience in the store. And recently, we're facing some challenges. The building we were in was sold. We were given a 30-day vacate notice. And then we have relocated to Ellisville as we kind of sort out exactly what we're going to do. But it's been very interesting coming back to Ellisville. And once again, we're going from a whole store to a little micro boutique. And some of the observations, and things we're going to talk about tonight with merchandising, I think are very relevant. Is we're kind of getting reintroduced to a boutique, the micro boutique, and then some of the things we'll talk about. You have much larger stores. And so these topics, I think, fit right in, for where we are with our store, what we're doing. And so I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to make it clear, but I put it in the post. Today, we're going to talk about just the importance of retail merchandising, or what the H is merchandising. So it'll be fun. And the James here is a genius. He is indeed Dr. Pepper. He's got the PhD, guys. And I'm not going to make the joke, but it's funny, right? But he does actually have a PhD.
I do have to ask, when you obtained your PhD, how many jokes came from that?
Well, actually, my last name is not Pepper. Okay. There's a little story behind it.
You say it's Mountain Dew Baja Blast, I'm out.
No, not on me. Dr. Pepper is is not my favorite soda. We do get a lot of jokes on the Dr. Pepper stuff, but what happened was in the store, out of our house, there was a customer in there one day and saw Kathy and I's credentials. Kathy has a master's in counseling psychology, and she was talking, and I happened to have walked in the room, and Kathy had just talked about the credentials on the wall, and the comment was, "Oh, you must be Dr. Pepper." And it stuck. The customers just started calling me Dr. Pepper, and so many people, just assumed that was our last name, but it actually came from putting a little spice in your life. That's what the company was, kind of founded on.
You get a little spicy.
Yeah, just a little bit of spice.
We call my youngest daughter.
Nice.
spicy tuna, right? And currently my garden is growing peppers for her, and I have to check on it and be like, because they're spicy like you, baby. It's okay.
And she just walked in the room.
Oh, you're spicy.
Yeah.
Hey, Kathy, it's a family show-ish. Intercation, the education and the entertainment.
Hello.
Did you say intrication?
I did.
Like
making up words.
Look at these.
Hey, although I think Ryan made that word up a while ago.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for Dr. Pepper? Feel free to join in. I'm reading the producer notes live.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have one.
Yes.
Dr. Pepper, in your experience, how crucial is effective merchandising in the sexual wellness sector, especially for products like condoms and lubricants? Could you share some hard and fast rules for making these products stand out?
I wish there were hard and fast rules. However, there are things that you really can do, and I think it comes down to how you merchandise your store. For one, the conversations that you have. One of the things that we did in our store, we had conversation stations. And so it's like when you go back, well, that's where you kind of take a customer and you literally, if you're going to be talking about anal sex, you have your section in the store, but not only do you have just the anal products there, but you will have a condom, you will have lubricant, and you will have some of the accessories that go there. And so throughout the store with, if you will, the staples, always have them, or pretty much have them included, not just in their own section, but over there where they're used. That allows you to include that in the conversation, one, for the educational part of it, but two, you also have the sales part that you're not just buying, let's say, an anal toy, but they need lube, right? That should be included in the conversation. All right.
Well, because your lube's going to run out. Your condom is a one-time use. That toy, like knowing the sort of products you and Kathy pick, is supposed to last like a very long time.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why you have those there, because even if they're just looking in, and as you're going from conversation to conversation through the store, the consistent staple items just follow the conversation. And so it makes the sale, in closing the sale, a lot easier.
Well, and then I know my old school, retail merchandising for swimwear and lingerie back in the day was very much just like, not only did it make it, I appreciated it as someone selling on the floor, because otherwise I was running around with my customer like, oh, and we need this. And then I recommend this. So when it's outfitted, right. And you can still outfit with toys and lube and pills and lingerie, right? When it's outfitted, it's that much easier, not just for me to remember because things get busy, but like I can just pull it right there.
Yeah, and even when you're coming around to the checkout, that's an extremely important part of, merchandising condoms and lube, because even if they have not been picked up in the store, as you're going through the checkout, it's time for the reminder, so on and so forth, because they may not have wanted to carry it through the store. They may not have just, and so, make sure that your checkout includes that condom, the lubricant, not necessarily the big bottles, but man, make sure you have those samples. Everybody loves samples.
Yeah.
Make sure that you get, have it available. And one of the things that we always did in our training that often gets overlooked is the conversation at checkout. It's not just
a huge one.
This is an opportunity for a real educational exchange, whether it's, say, on battery use and, getting the batteries in correctly in a toy, or using the correct lubricant with the correct condom, making sure that everything.
Right. Don't use oil. Don't use oil.
And so those details, I mean, literally what Tori just said, are so important in your checkout conversation is a way to make sure that your customer is safe, they're educated, and then hopefully that comes back to the profit by them picking up the extra products.
And
I
thank you,
just saw the
Facebook
comment.
user. Yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect. The grab and goes. I call it
Yeah.
the chip and gum of the adult store. For what you see in a grocery store there, it's perfect product placement.
Mhm.
Well, right. And that's a good point, right? I didn't add it to the notes here, but my number one, like, you know, if you walk into a store and someone needs merchandising help, what's the first thing you're looking at? Not just product, but the location. Make
Right.
sure your like right commodity items should be like, you know, in my opinion, in the entrance area and then they need to be, you know, impulse adjacent to the cash wrap, and then they need to be adjacent to related products, like Mr. Pepper has mentioned.
Dr.
Yep.
hearing that.
And you know, the other thing about merchandising that I think that works really well is learning the how to get the conversation started.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things. There's a guy named Bob Phibbs. He's they call him a retail guru. He's not in our industry, but I read him pretty regularly. And one of the things that he talked about was customers come in, somebody asks a question. Most of the time, do you know what you're looking for? Or can I help you? And you get a yes or no answer. So getting that conversation. And so one of the things that, you know, we tried to promote was, you know, give the customer room to shop, but you've got to start a conversation with them. So we had an activity where one of our sales team would just kind of throw a towel over their shoulder, be walking back like they're cleaning up, and they may see somebody reaching up and starting to grab something and saying, hey, you know, that's got a great guarantee on it. And so instead of immediately talking about sex, or as they're reaching up, you notice some sparkly fingernails and say, oh, that is some great color. And so you start a conversation like that. And then the merchandising of, you know, that's where those conversation stations come in, if you will.
No, I think that's great. We could do a whole other episode on like open-ended questions, because it's like a pet peeve of mine. I walk into so many stores, and no judgment, training is different. We don't have the same resources, but it's like I grew up at the limited, right? Very strict KPIs. So it's been beaten into me, and I can't help but like want to help everybody. Like, okay, like hi, can I help you today? No, I'm fine. I'm just looking. That's it. That's the end of your conversation.
The recipe for disaster.
Right now, you have to go and reapproach, like, instead of, you know, what brings you in today, folks, or exactly, like, you know, use your power of observation to figure out, you know, what sort of customer. Are they a shy customer? Are they informed? Are they curious? Or can you tell that they're a brand loyalist? Just go in and make it happen.
For sure. Exploratory questions.
Yeah, and one of the things that many of the manufacturers have done with, you know, for the stores is they have some pretty nice signs, and take advantage of those. They often have a message that fits your store. And so that signage allows, once again, a conversation. Oh, look what we have. Let's go to, we'll say the blush section. Let's go to the Tantus section. Let's go to the weave. And each of those manufacturers, they make an investment in that materials that they have available to the store.
Yeah, and they want to secure that space. So 9 times out of 10, they'll support you in keeping it.
Right. And so take advantage and use those as part of your conversation, because they have language for you to help you train your staff.
Okay, so speaking of language and training, I'm sorry, I have to put this up again. Talk about condoms using on dildos for butt stuff, or butt stuff in general. I think this is a great, going off script for a minute. I don't know who wants to take this, because I feel like I've been talking too much. But yes, I think it's a huge point.
You probably have the better vocabulary for it.
Okay, well, I don't want to step on any toes of the toys, right? But no, in my last just like almost a year, right? It's almost a year that I've been at Paradise. Everybody get excited, because I've been training, right? So a huge sort of, I'm not sure if you want to say it's a testimony or more of like an upsell benefit, but something as I've been like, going around and talking to stores and making sure that condoms are part of the conversation, right? Because they should be your loss leader to get, use the Trojan name to get people in your store and sell them everything else. It's a good thing. But specifically, there's a couple of brands out there. One is the one that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, because they did actually, and I had to ask, because my life with the FDA previously in liquids,
I know where you're going with this.
Right, would not allow you to say it's safe for anal sex.
Butt stuff approved.
Right. So I had to ask. I asked my old global rep at the time, Jeff and Dave, right? And I was like, how did you do that? You're not allowed to like market using the FDA. You're just supposed to have it if it's a medical device. So star. Anybody joining right now that doesn't know condoms and lube are a medical device, they are. Yay! It's Mrs. Pepper.
I literally just popped in for just a second.
Well, no, this is why it's like the fun, casual podcast where we talk about using condoms on dildos for butt stuff or just any stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So Mike, thanks. Look at how nice my producer is. Adventures Exotic. He's a good copywriter. So one actually, they told me it took 10 years and $1 million. So you can pay to play with the FDA. I'll tell you that. So that they could just say that it's FDA cleared. So they have 3 SKUs that have gone through that to just say FDA cleared, which sounds like not a big deal. Because, right? Oh, Tori, you've told me like every condom you can use for anal use. Yes, you can and you should. But these people not only got the approval to use it as marketing, which is great for my marketing head, but they've actually put anal sex, like, I don't want to say like on the market, but like on the docket for the FDA, because until this happened, you had to like submit a 510K for still, vaginal application. But your product needed to say anal if it was anal, but you couldn't say you needed to use it anally on your indications for use. So now anal sex has been recognized by the FDA. So again, why we have the show, so I can soapbox, because nobody else cares about this stuff except me. So
they went the extra mile, but in our world, they actually just went the extra inch.
Yeah. Ooh, tell me about the Canadian world.
Oh, we still use the metric system.
Well, I meant like, do you have a different opinion, right? So, because Andrew, you sell for one too on the other side.
Not at all. Absolutely, like Global Protection is one of our biggest customers, or I should say, in turn, vice versa. We're one of Global Protection's biggest distributors in the Canadian market. So, one of the first things I came across, actually, there were 2 things I came across from One Condoms. Is one, they won the XBiz Condom Company of the Year award last year, and noted that they were butt stuff approved, which to me, again, starting 5 months ago, I had no idea that was a thing. Mm-hmm. That you had to get that extra bit of clearance for that.
Well, and to think 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago, because shorter than my career, right? My career in liquids was like, nope, we have to just not put indications for use and saying it's for anal, right? And it's changed. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. But also, as we're talking about butt stuff, like a big testimony for selling, if anybody needs it, is like, hey, I know you can do all the prep back there and be as clean as you want, but there's still other bacteria that happens, and you need to be, washing up in between sex acts.
For sure. I know that there's the STIs like as the be all end all, and it's not just that. Like that's really the impetus for Harmony Dams of why we introduced.
Ooh, nice plug there.
I thought you'd appreciate that, but like really like
Harmony Dams available at Paradise Market.
well done.
Good.
But yeah, absolutely. Like that's really why we got into this more so than anything, is that like, yes, it covers cunnilingus, but analingus altogether, to be able to make these claims and whatnot. And, you know, we are FDA approved.
STIs and scariness. That's a whole other episode. But yeah, 100%. Just use a condom. You don't have to worry about switching.
That would have been a good Halloween episode.
I know. I had actually thought about it, but then it was Halloween and I was sick, so it didn't happen. So maybe it'll be later.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about listening to this dialogue is 15 years ago, this dialogue would not have been had, period.
Very,
Yeah,
very
like we
true,
would be
James.
chastised for wanting to put anal on a
Very
label.
true.
Right. And so how quickly it, I guess you could say, almost socially has progressed to be able to have the FDA involved in doing any of this is both rewarding and kind of scary. Because, you know, one is getting recognition for, okay, this does need to be safe. The other part of it is when the FDA gets involved with regulation, it makes marketing much different to what you just addressed.
Right.
And so we're kind of at an interesting crossroads, because as we try to educate, part of education is also marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing is in a gray zone. And I feel like some people are like blown away. Like Excedrin extra strength and Excedrin migraine are the same thing. Like if you look at the formula, and I feel like unfortunately consumers think like, oh God, I'm being lied to. And it's like, well, no, it's just we're trying to make it clear for somebody who would want this, right? And they're using it for a migraine versus they're, you know, using it like, right, a water-based or a silicone-based lubricant could still be for anal. It just might not say anal. So like putting that on there helps get that customer that doesn't want to ask questions. But now it's like the world feels, oh my God, I'm being lied to. It's like, okay, marketing versus medical claims.
Well, it's just even saying safe sex versus safer sex. Because saying safe sex, all of a sudden, you know, condom breaks, something happens, they'll come back and be like, hey, you promised me this.
Yep.
And it's like, whoa. No, it makes it safer, but like nothing's 100% guaranteed. Except for death and taxes.
No joke. Okay, I love our tangents right now, but I'm gonna skip to like, wait, how about Andrew? You ask what you want to do question number 4, because I was like, hey, we'll keep it to 30 minutes. It's 33 minutes right now, so we'll do another 10 minutes.
Boy, this is really
fun.
gone. Yeah.
I was like, it goes by fast when you're just BSing.
It really
Yay.
does.
This is why I need a co-host.
Well, I used to be on the other side doing, you know, the production. This is the first time I've actually been on a show like this.
Oh, but James, you're so smart. Come anytime. I think what's his face? My co-host isn't here next week, so you're welcome to jump in.
Ouch.
We are so happy to have you. You're the one going to Tool and not inviting me because I don't live in
It's
Canada.
a concert to go to. Who would say no?
I would not say no. I'm just saying I got to feel the space.
So in any case, when it comes to engaging with customers, what are some smooth techniques retailers can use to uncover their needs without making the conversation too, you know, slippery or uncomfortable?
Before the show, to keep me from just kind of slip sliding all over the place, I talked with Lunar. They are handling part of our transition to from Hattiesburg to Ellisville, and just a wonderful source of information when it comes to customer interactions.
I've gotten to meet her. She's amazing. Oh, look.
Yeah.
Hi, Lulu.
Hi, Lulu.
And one of the things that they mentioned in today's environment is very much being able to talk without making assumptions about a person's life. And so when you're approaching them, don't always assume that a man is shopping for the woman. So use gender neutral,
Absolutely.
find out, start the conversation, with your mate, your spouse, those types of things. Let them fill in.
Partner is what I end up using if I don't know.
Right. And that was a term that, Lunar had said. But let them fill in information for you. And so the gender neutral, not making assumptions about a lifestyle or who they're here shopping for right off the bat. Those types of interactions, I think, are very important. And Lunar brought it up, that communication doesn't put anybody in a box. You don't want to set a box of judgment, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Oh, how many people on the floor have, like, I don't know, it's happened to me where it was like, oh, I helped this person, but I didn't think it was going to be a big sale, maybe based off of, how I perceived they look. And then all of a sudden they're putting that black Amex on my counter. Like, what?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that.
Don't assume.
Absolutely. Don't make the assumption, that people won't spend money. We live in essentially small town USA. A lot of the people work, just hard physical labor, logging, oil, agriculture, mechanics. And sometimes whenever they get off work, they don't have time to go home, shower, so on and so forth. And you may have a guy that's coming in from the oil field, smells like oil, looks like hell, but is walking in with a wad of cash.
Mm-hmm.
Just got home. And so,
ready to see his or their partner.
Right. And so making the assumption that person that's walking in is just a dirty old individual.
Don't be in this business then. They're in your store because they want to be in your store, right?
Yeah.
And I think you said something right there, Tori, that is in our business, we're graced with people who they're walking into a store on a mission most of the time.
There's still something that can't be replaced, at least in my opinion, right? I know we got a lot of online, and I enjoy online, but I'm still one of the people that needs to go and like have an experience. I want to touch it. I want to feel it.
Yep.
And then I want it now.
I'm a very sensory person.
Especially something so intimate.
Yeah.
Right. And so, what you're talking about right there is the essence of what the conversation needs to be. And so that one thing of not making an assumption gives someone the freedom to sit back and observe, let the person give them information, and then interact on their terms. And so, it's like you don't want to force a negative conversation by making a judgment or accidentally. And that's true.
Yep.
Everybody can be broken.
I just broke my budget today because one of my favorite authors is in town on Thursday, and I just found out, and I can't buy tickets anymore. So I bought a scalp ticket. Who buys a scalp ticket to go see an author? Me, apparently.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to budget for a PS5. So here we are.
300% markup. Yeah, pretty much. When you can find that's a whole other your target audience, right? When you can find the right people that want to spend the money on it, you're golden.
Yep. And we had something happen today. We went to, I think we now have like 400 square feet that we're merchandising. So it's when people come in, it's a much more personal conversation. I've even sold a couple of weeks ago. I was doing some of the floor work. With the smaller footprint, our average sale has actually gone up.
Wow.
Lunar did one today, 350.
Good
One
job,
individual.
Lunar.
Wow.
Great job, Lunar.
I'm sure there were commodities in that sale because it's Lunar.
It is, absolutely. and the point being there is merchandising will not take the place of an interaction. It's a tool. And so one of the things that we are learning is, okay, if that's the case, how can we make the most use of what the manufacturers are providing us with information so that we can turn the personal contacts that we now have into dollar bills? Lunar did something today that proved that it can really nicely be done. I know how much Lunar invests in her not just knowledge of the materials, but the context into which it is placed.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when the manufacturer has information that says, use it like this, use it like this, that allows, and so I highly encourage, a lot of fellow store owners spend time. I know it takes time to go through that stuff. Some of it is better than others, but there are some real gems in what many of the manufacturers are doing, and they help provide the language. And I said that earlier. They help provide the language of their products. And
yeah, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, guys. Sometimes I've thought for it for you, right?
Sometimes it's even on the packaging. A lot of us don't take time to really read what's there. It's a box and it goes up, or it's a package and you just set it in the bowl.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. Just another topic for later, where it's like, hey, you don't need to use, especially since we sell a lot of intimate items. I felt like for a while there's kind of like a stigma of new sales representatives that would be like, but this is not what I'm into. How am I going to sell it? I don't know. It's like, you don't need to use your testimony. Like, again, a lot of places will give you the verbiage or the education, or right. You can use someone else's testimony. You don't have to share any of your personal information with customers.
That's a great point. And I think training to do that, because too much personal information doesn't create a safe space in most cases.
But sometimes it's easy for a salesperson to be like, oh, I tried it and I like it, but that doesn't mean it needs to be every item or should be your go-to, right?
Thank you. I mean, that's one of the things is you learn your customers on who you can really trade information with. And so I think what you're saying there is part of having the confidence. It was mentioned by somebody in the audience. You have the confidence to go out and talk about these things, but you don't have in that part of that confidence comes from knowledge and not just personal experience. Personal experience is a preference. If you're in the retail space, that knowledge is the key to everything working. Your experience just puts if you will, the color to it.
I'm going to call you Professor Pepper now. That was beautiful. I should write that down. We're going to turn that into a clip. That was great.
Well, thank you.
All right. I think we need to wrap up. Andrew, you want to send it home? Because I feel like I've talked too much.
I was saying one quick question, because it's a topic on everyone's mind nowadays, and it relates to AI. So everyone's talking about AI. Just want to get some quick thoughts about the use of AI in retail today.
I like AI a lot. And in fact, we have been using it in redoing our website, both design-wise. We have looked for it for outlines,
Yep.
generating not content so much as we need a framework. And so you can use AI in many cases. Like, we're so small, it's hard a lot of times to have a lot of good conversations. At least it has been for me to have the conversations that how do we really put this in the framework of a big business? Because our industry is pretty good size now.
Yeah.
Of
What,
course,
it's supposed to be 300 billion in the next 10 years was the last thing I heard.
yes, and it's growing, and so small stores have got to make use of all the information that's out there. We can't read everything, and so it's like I will literally go to GPT or whatever it is, and say, I am putting together an advertising campaign. I'm looking for prostate cancer survivors that are using pumps, so on and so forth. Can you give me an outline of some verbiage that would help me out here? Okay, that's a start. And then, you can take that information and put your style to it, all of that sort of stuff. So I think that a lot of small businesses have a lot of good opportunities with AI. I think I think that comment is perfect. Great for gathering and understanding. Always needs editing and review, because I've gotten
It's
some
still
awful,
a robot.
For sure.
Yeah.
You still have to delete destroy all humans when it says that.
Right.
Kidding.
And one thing I've done with AI, I've wanted to use it with images. Forget it.
It's a big long prompt to put it into like Mid-Journey or something, and then you still have to. It's a
Right.
lot.
And so there's a lot of tools out there, and one of the things is that I've had to spend some time learning which tools work, because a lot of them are really bad. I mean, they're just not well developed. There's as AI has exploded, there's a lot of people that can just go out, grab Chat GPT, wrap a little piece of software around it, and say they have an AI powered, and it's really nothing but just an AI shell, if you will. No real.
I need to see your scope of work.
Right.
What are you going to do, actual robot? Thank you.
But you can generate, and one thing is like with spreadsheets, you don't have to now be a spreadsheet genius to be able to get a formula.
Well, there goes my education. Just kidding.
I mean, it writes some really good spreadsheet formulas.
Yeah.
And why? It's because it's concrete. So those things that you find that are concrete, it will do pretty well at. And that's why I say structure and outline. Those things, and a lot of times, they're pretty well structure and concrete. Formulas, structure and concrete. If you're having to get creative, you might be a bit wary of what AI is going to do for you.
Yeah, like maybe for brainstorm generation, and then you can extrapolate.
Exactly.
But don't expect it to provide full answers. A good tool, but it's not
the be all end all.
No, nowhere close to that.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good.
Yeah, I'm very much in favor of it. I think it's still a bit early on, but I think our industry can benefit by getting some of the structure, using some of the common knowledge, and particularly on the back end of the store, if you will. Like I said, with the spreadsheets, with numbers, with ideas to help out in that realm, as much as just say, I need to generate content or I need to find an answer. So that's how I've been using it.
No, that makes sense. A friend of mine was saying it's, I guess, Chat GPT could take the bar for you and pass, but you have to know the right prompts and the right questions.
Mhm.
I was like, this is like leadership 101.
Yeah.
For sure.
You got to ask the right questions.
Wow.
All right.
This has gone much longer than we thought.
I was
This
just
is
about
amazing.
to say, Tori, we've done
We
it
gotta
again.
go.
I think our last,
I know.
the last time where I was, your guest, we said half an hour, and it was a 52-minute.
Right. Great company and good topics.
So
So
Thank
I
you.
will take us home.
Thank you,
here,
friends. I was
so-
going to say, Andrew, take us home. Do the thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Pepper, it has been a real Tahiti treat having you on. Please don't hit me if you ever run to me in person for that joke. But no, I really do want to thank you so much for coming on, sharing invaluable insights for us and our listeners today.
Well, this has been fun.
No,
and
please
like I
come
said,
back anytime.
Well, ask me. I'll be glad to come back.
Perfect. And if anybody else wants to come, the show is here for you.
I just laughed that you said
Kathy,
that on a
I know if anyone else wants to
podcast.
come. And Kathy's in the background. Love you, Kathy.
Yeah. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and thank you for inviting me. Like I said, it's just been a lot of fun. Hadn't had a chance for a conversation like this in a good while, so look forward to the next time that we can do it.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And I look forward to hopefully meeting you in person sometime soon.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
So that being said, we talk too much. Loving you, the audience. If you're catching this later, add a little comment. My email is Tori@Paradise Marketing. Andrew is Andrew@pamco.ca because he's Canadian.
Hey.
Or Facebook message us here because we would love to make sure we can answer your questions.
Absolutely.
See you next Tuesday, guys.
Take care, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.